Hi everyone, welcome. Let's get moving. Let's do a flow just to clear the mind and to start moving the body, stretching out those muscles. So come to stand at the top of your mat. You want your feet to be about shoulder distance apart. Just take a few moments just to find that space where there's equal pressure through the balls of the feet and the heels. So the four corners of the feet are grounded into the mat. Give the shoulders a roll back and down. Turn the palms to face forwards and just tilt the tailbone under slightly just to activate into the lower core. Relax your shoulders. Take a nice big deep breath in. And as you exhale, just release the breath. Relax the shoulders. Just let go. And then just breathing in and out through the nostrils. And maybe for the first time today, just connecting in with the breath. Just recognizing the length of the inhale and exhale, and how your body feels as you breathe. Which parts of the body move as you inhale? Are you actually breathing into your chest or into your belly? What happens as you exhale? These are all things that we take for granted. So it's often good just to pop those things to one side. Everything that's going on in the mind, just pop it to one side and really bring the focus into the breath. So feel your connection through your feet into the earth. Feel the foundations of this posture and then grow your body away from it. And with your eyes closed, you should be able to feel your body's natural vibration and rhythm. You might feel you're swaying slightly from side to side. Just go with it. And just see what your energy levels are like today. It's always good to check in with your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, to see what's going on. A few more breaths like this, then bringing the hands into prayer at heart center. Continue with the breath. Push the thumbs into the sternum. Thumbs are coming into our heart space. And set yourself a focus or an intention for practice today. My intention is to practice mindfully and to be aware of how my body feels at all times. So just being, when you're going through your postures, not taking it too far. And just listening to our body's messages. Those are things that we often ignore. And when we ignore them, when we push our body a little too far, that's when we get an injury. So just try and tune in, connect to yourself. Okay, another round of breath. Big, long inhale. Full, slow exhalation. And then open up the eyes. Take an inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Palms touch at the top. Exhale, forward fold. Lift the hands onto the shins, halfway lift, lengthening through the spine here. Hands go down to the floor. Step back with the right foot and then step back with the left foot. So we're in a plank position. So nice and strong, push the floor away with the hands. Push the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Lower the knees down to the mat. Then bring chin and chest down with the elbows tight to the body. Push through as you inhale into your back bend. So shoulders are back and down. Those elbows are squeezed in tight. Exhale, keep the knees down on the mat. Sit your bottom to your heels. Forehead comes to the floor into a child's pose. Big deep breath in here. And then exhale, just release your bottom down onto your heels a little bit further if we can. Feel that stretch coming down the sides of the body. Then walk your fingertips forward, coming onto fingertips, bringing the palms of the hands off the floor so we can really intensify the stretch. Then release the hands back down onto the floor. Draw up into tabletop, so we're onto hands and knees. Pushing the floor away with the hands, spreading the fingers out nice and wide. Knees are knees are hip distance apart. As you inhale, lift the head and tilt the tailbone to the back of the room for cow posture. And then exhale, rounding the spine into cat, bringing the chin into the chest and tucking the tailbone. Inhale, lift the head, tilt the tailbone to the back of the room. Exhale, round the spine, bringing the chin in towards the chest. Good. And again, inhale, lift the head, tilt the tailbone back, and then exhale, rounding the spine. One more like this. Inhale, lifting the head. And then exhale, rounding, pulling the belly button all the way up, and then release back into a neutral position. Bring the heels towards the bottom, lower chin and chest down towards the floor. Keep the elbows tight so the chin comes forward of the hands. Push back up. Push your bottom back to your heels towards child's pose. So inhale, come up. Heels come to the bum. Lower down chin and chest. Push back up. Let's wake those triceps up. Push back into pose of a child. One more. Inhale, come up. Heels to bum. Lower chin and chest down to the floor. Push back up. Tabletop. Now tuck your toes under. Lift your hips high to come into downward facing dog. So pedal the legs out here, bending one leg then the other. Just alternating, pushing the heels down to the floor. Give the head a shake out, so releasing neck tension. Whatever feels good here. I like to rise up onto my toes and then push the heels down. And then rise onto the toes. Drop both of your heels down to the right side. So pushing them down one side, then come back to centre. Keeping the heels high. Drop the heels over to the left. Good, then bring it back to centre, push your heels to the floor. Walk your feet up to the top of the mat towards your hands, and then grab onto opposite elbows in a ragdoll position. So hanging the upper body over the legs, and again we can sway or rock from side to side. And then release your arms down to the floor. Slowly roll up the spine, come into standing, pop the head back on top. Take an inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen through the spine, put the hands down, step back, right foot then left. Lower it, knees, chin and chest down, elbows are tight. Push through into your back bend, shining the heart space forward, exhaling into downward facing dog. Good, just take a few more breaths here. Pedal the legs again if you need to. Take an inhale, lift up onto your toes, come high, exhale, push your heels to the floor. And lift up onto your toes. Exhale, push down with the heels. One more, lift up onto your toes. Exhale, push your heels to the floor. Now look forward, step the right foot in between the hands, lower the left knee down onto the floor. Inhale, arms come up into our low lunge, untuck the back toes here for me. And then bring the right hand onto that front knee. Reach the left arm up and then take it over for a side bend. So we're stretching up through the side body here. From that left knee all the way up towards top fingers. Good. And then release it down. Bring your hands down to the floor. Step back, down dog. Step the left foot forward. Lower the right knee. Inhale into our low lunge on this side. So the left hand just comes onto the knee. Right arm reaches up and then take it over. So breathing into the side body. You can untuck those back toes. So from these top fingers all the way down to that right knee. Feel the stretch. Good. And release back to centre. Bring your hands down to the top of the mat. Step it forward. So both feet at the top. Hands onto the shins, halfway left. Exhale, fold over the legs. Sweep the arms to the sky. Inhale, reach up. And then hands come into prayer at heart centre. Inhale, take your arms to the sky. Exhale, take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers here. Squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chest. And as you exhale, let's bow the chest down towards the thighs. Lengthen through the spine once more, and then exhale, go even deeper. Arms can come up and over the head. Now if we need knees to be soft, that's fine. Soften the knees off. Soften the knees off, bring the chest onto the thighs. Now take weight forward into the balls of your feet. Just let your head go nice and heavy. Then we can start straightening the legs again, turning the tailbone a little bit higher. Release your hands down onto the floor. Step back with your left foot. Lower the left knee down onto the mat. Untuck the back toes. Arms come up into low lunge position. Let's sink into the hips here. Breathe in. As you breathe out, rock back. Pull the right toes up towards you. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, rock back. Let's stay here. Hands are framing that front leg. The toes are pulling up towards us. Then we can take the chest down towards the thighs if it feels okay. Breathing in. Breathe out, take the chest further down. Keep the hips square, push the right hips to the back of the room. Walk yourself forward so the hands are framing the front foot. Step back into downward facing dog. Left foot, step it forward. Lower the right knee. Untuck the back toes. Arms come up, low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Inhale here. Exhale, rock back. Left toes come up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, rock back, left toes up. One more, inhale, lift up. Exhale, rock back and hold. So the hands are either side, the toes are flexed, so the foot is flexed, and the chest starts coming down towards the thigh. Push the left hip to the back of the room. So we should feel it down the back of the hamstring here. Keep moving the chest down. Release the foot. Bring the hands down to frame the foot and then step back into downward facing dog. Come forward into plank, lower through chaturanga or knees, chin and chest. Push through into your back bend. Exhale all the way back to downward facing. Let's take a step forward with the right foot. Turn yourself into wide leg stance. So we're taking it nice and wide with the legs, not too wide. So the hands can come down to the floor. Use a block if you need to. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Now push your heels out so the feet are parallel with the side edges of the mat. So nice flat back position. Bring your right hand to the centre and then with the left arm extend and reach it up towards the ceiling to take your twist. Good. So fingertips are reaching up. We should have a nice vertical line from that base hand all the way up to top fingertips. Reach up. Take weight into the balls of your feet. So just shift the weight forward a touch. And then exhale, lower. Swap your hands over. So left hand to centre, right hand to the sky. Opening into the twist here. So trying to get in a vertical line with the arms from the base hand up to top fingers. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale, bring the hand down. Keep your feet where they are. Keep your bottom where it is in relation to your heels. And then extend the fingers forward. So we're coming into a wide leg downward facing dog. And then we'll start lowering the chest and the head down towards the floor. So the bottom's pushing back. So your bottom should be in line with your heels. We're feeling that stretch. You can take the arms a little wider if you want to. Lowering the chest down and really turning your tailbone high so you get the stretch down the back of the legs. Breathe here. See if you can go a touch deeper. Then walk your hands back so they're level with the feet. Then again, lengthening through the spine. And then as you exhale, forward fold. Hands can walk off the back of the mat. So fingertips reach towards the other side of the room. As you just let your head go. For some, you may want to just rest your forearms down and hold with another stretch for a few breaths here. So go wherever you want with these postures. It's your practice. But when you feel the stretch, just hold it and breathe. And try, if you can, as you exhale, to find a little bit more space to move the body into. Good. Okay, let's bring the hands back underneath our shoulders. We're going to walk the hands back towards that front foot. So we can rotate on the feet and then step back into our plank position. Push back into downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank, lower, chaturanga or knees, chin, chest. Push through into your back bend. Exhaling into downward facing. Walking or stepping your feet to the top of the mat, lengthening through the spine here, then folding over the legs. Pull yourself in, squeeze in tight. Inhale, soften the knees as you raise your arms to the sky. And exhale. Bring your hands into prayer at heart centre. Lovely, good job. Okay, we're going to take a balance with tree posture. So take the weight into your right foot. Just lift the left heel. So spread the right toes out. Then bring the left knee into your chest. And then guiding the foot into place. So we can have it above the knee, or it might just go below the knee, or maybe just across the foot. And then the hands can come into prayer at heart centre. So choose wherever you want the foot to go. And then finding balance, focusing on one point in front of you to help your drishti point, and then see if the arms can extend up towards the ceiling. Interlace your fingers, release your pointers, cross your thumbs. Reach up even taller, pull the belly in, relax the shoulders away from the ears, push that knee out a little further. Good. Feel the connection through the right foot. And grow tall away from it. This is where we find another couple of centimetres in height here, where we lengthen through the spine. Hold. Keep the breath long. Core engaged. And then slowly release the left hand down towards that knee, with the right arm reach up. And see if you can look towards that top hand. Good. All right, release everything back to center. Give your knee a little hug and then place it back down onto the floor. Take it onto the other side. So weight into the left foot, the right knee to your chest. Again, focus on that one point in front of you. And then take your balance. So foot, inner thigh or below the knee or crossing the foot, hands come into prayer at heart center. So activate the core, squeeze through the glute to pull this knee out to the side. Stand tall, relax the shoulders. And then if you wish, take the hands up, interlace the fingers, release the pointers, cross the thumbs. So squeezing the ears with the arms, engage in the core, pull the belly button back. Pull that knee out, right knee, take it out, open the hip. Good. Keep going. Another couple of deep inhales and exhales. So find that lovely length of the breath that you started your practice with. We need to use it now to help hold the posture. And as we release out, we're just going to bring the right hand down to hover over that knee. The left arm reaches up towards the ceiling and then we can look up towards the hand. Whoop. Just holding. Find your focus. And then exhale. Slowly release. Give the legs a little bit of a walk out. Wiggle them out. Well done. Take the feet wider than hip distance apart. So the toes are pointing out slightly. Take an inhale, raise your arms to the sky. As you exhale, keep the spine tall as we sink down into our squat position. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, let's sink it down. Good. Inhale, raise up. And then exhale, take it all the way down. Use the elbows to push the knees out. May want to have a little walk through the feet so we can get the heels down onto the floor. If they're not down, that's fine. Just we're trying to send them in that direction. Now keep the shoulders down. Hands come into prayer at heart center. Actively push those knees away. Lift the chest, lengthen, breathe. If this is really easy for you, you can always lift the hips slightly so we can start getting a bit more activation going on. Holding here. Good. Breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And out. Bring your hands down to the floor. Lift your hips up to the sky. Just have a little wiggle off from side to side. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Let's go straight back down into that yogic squat. So bring it back down to the floor. Again, settle into the posture. Drop your left shoulder down. Take your hand to the floor. And then with the right arm, reach it across and up. To open up here. So we want to keep pushing this knee out to the side. So reach and extend the arm. And release to center. Switch sides. So drop the right shoulder. Hand comes down to the floor. The left arm opens you up into that lovely diagonal line with the arms. Keep pushing this knee out. Looking towards the reaching hand. And then bring it back to center. Lovely. Hands come into prayer. Now we're going to take our Bakasana, our crow balance here. So hands come to the floor. Hands want to be about shoulder distance apart. I'm just going to turn around for this one. So hands are shoulder distance. And then if we lift the hips up high and pop the knees onto the back of the triceps. And then looking forward and leaning forward. Now just putting the weight into the hands and keeping the toes on the floor is fine. But keep the head lifted. Try not to do this. Keep the head lifted, look forward. And then you might want to experiment with taking one foot off and then the other. Or maybe both can come off together. So really holding onto the floor with your hands. Bringing your big toes together. And then release back down. Well done. Come back into your yogic squat. Hold for a breath. Should we try that one again? So hands come down to the floor, spread the fingers out. Lift the knees up. So we can always put them onto the side of the elbows to make it a little easier, or bring them onto the back of the triceps, maybe into the armpits. Look forward, lean forward, and then one or both feet coming off to find your balance. And then release back down. Hands come into prayer, take a breath. Lift the chest, lengthen up through the spine. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then push into the feet as you inhale. Raise your arms to the sky. And then exhale. Arms come down by your side. Just give the legs a bit of a shake out. Release off. Brill. Okay, back up to the top of the mat. Arms are down by your side, palms face forward. Big deep breath in. Sigh out through the mouth. Let it go. Well done again. Inhale. Sigh out. Exhale. Awesome. Inhale. Take those arms up. Exhale into forward fold. Lift the chest, lengthen up through the spine here. Hands to the floor, step back. Plank position. Lower through chaturanga. Push through into your back bend. Drop your knees onto the floor. Sit your bottom back to the heels and take child's pose. Just forehead down. We can drop the elbows down as well. And release. You can always pop the hands underneath the head to make a little pillow of support if needs be. Just a couple of breaths here. And slowly come up into a kneeling position. So for back bend today, we're going to take Camel. So if you come up onto your knees want to be hip distance apart. Start with the toes tucked under. So we want to keep the hips directly over the knees. Engage through pelvic floor. So Mula Bandha is on. So engage up and over to really activate into our lower abdomen area. Bring your hands onto the base of the spine as if you're popping your hands into your back pockets. So squeeze the shoulder blades so that the chest is open here. So engage everything, zip up and then pushing the hips forward as you start going back, looking back along the ceiling into your back bend. Just find space. If the neck feels okay, the head can go back as well. And then just release off to centre, untuck the toes, sit the bottom down. We're going to do 3 rounds, so that's round 1. Round 2, same thing again. If you want to lower your hands onto your heels, we can do that to take it that touch deeper. If that's not an option for you, just keep the hands on the base of the spine. So come up, tuck your toes under, activate lower core, hands onto the base of the spine. And then breathe in. Push the hips forward. Keep the hips over the knees at all times and start going back. Let the head go back if it feels okay. And then we might be able to lower one hand or both hands down onto the heels. And then pushing the chest up towards the ceiling. Push your hips towards the front of your mat. And breathing here into this back bend. Don't collapse into the lower back. Keep the core engaged to protect your lower back at all times. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, slowly releasing out, untuck the toes, sit your bottom to your heels, just allow the spine to neutralise. Okay, so 1 more round. Same again, all right? Anybody who wants to go deeper, don't have the toes tucked under, keep your feet flat. Once we are in the posture, we are going to just take one arm off and reach back with the other arm and then switch to the other side, okay? Couple of times on each side. If you prefer not to, you can stay with the very first posture, which was toes tucked, hands on the back, and just staying here. All right, so your choice. So starting with the toes tucked or untucked, hands come onto the base of the spine. Activate everything. Push the hips forward, start going back, look back, and then the hands might creep down onto the heels. Keep lifting through the chest. Okay, so breathing here, pushing the hips forward. And then put the weight into your left hand so the right arm can reach up and back. So opening up. Keep lifting the chest and then slowly release that hand down. Take the other one all the way up and back. And then exhale, bring it back to centre. Then lift up and sit your bottom down to release. Breathe in here. Exhale to release it. And then taking the knees nice and wide, just keep the hands next to the feet as you slowly roll the head down towards the mat. So we can breathe into our lower back to release tension there. And let it go. Good work. Okay, our final posture is going to be, well, before we go into Savasana. So our final posture on our mat here is Reclined Hero. So we want the knees about hip distance apart and the heels can open. We sit the bottom down in between the heels. If this isn't an option, pop a block or a blanket or something underneath your bum or a folded up towel perhaps. So the heels want to be on the outside of our bottoms. The hands come behind us with the fingertips pointing forwards. The knees, we want to keep the knees down and together as much as we can. If they start swaying or lifting, then go back to the previous stage of the posture. So hands behind us, fingertips point forward as we lift the hips. Lift the hips, you feel a lovely stretch down the front of the quads, and then let the head go back if it feels okay. So pushing the chest up, pushing the hips up. If you started with your bum on a block or a towel, you just want to get some air underneath your bum. So squeeze and lift your hips, and then exhale, slowly bring it back down again. Release out of the posture. Okay, stage 2 is to do the same thing but on our forearms. So bring the hands behind you, and then see if you might be able to lower down onto your forearms. Okay, so just making a note of what's going on with the knees. If they're lifting or splaying, go back to the previous one. Exactly the same thing. So pushing the hands into the floor, lift the hips and let the head go back. And just feel that stretch down the front of the body. Breathe into it, pushing and lifting the chest and the hips up. And then exhale, slowly bring the bottom down and bring yourself back up. Just going to move myself forward so I don't end up eating my plant. All right, last one. Choose either of those two options, or the third option is to lay down completely. So once we've come down onto our forearms, if there's a bit more space, we can lay down onto our backs, bringing the shoulder blades to the floor. From here, you can either stay with your arms down by your side or take your arms overhead and get hold of opposite elbows. Exactly the same thing, wherever you are, lift your hips. So lift your hips to make sure you get air underneath your bottom. So lifting the hips, pushing up, feeling that stretch coming down the front of the body, making sure that the knees don't lift. We can always hold onto the ankles and lift up slightly onto the elbows as well, onto forearms, so we can go a little bit deeper. Just intensify that stretch to the level that feels right for you today. So squeezing and lifting, and then exhale, carefully release. Hands come back around so we can lift ourselves back up into our tabletop position. So come to tabletop, hands and knees. And then just have a little wiggle of the hips, rotating, making some circular movements, and take it in the opposite direction. Push back into your child's pose. Bring the forehead down, just check in with the lower spine. See how the lower back is feeling. And when you are ready, come down onto your bottoms for me. So come down onto your bum, feet are about shoulder distance, hip distance apart in front of you. Just hold onto the knees, and we're slowly going to lower ourselves all the way down to lay down onto our backs. Keeping the arms down by your sides, lifting the legs into the sky. Just to take a waterfall posture, but keep the shoulders, the neck relaxed, the facial muscles are relaxed. If the lower back isn't great, we can always pop the hands underneath the sacrum just to give us that extra support. And just releasing, closing down the eyes, so no effort here. Just a restorative posture, allowing the lymphatic system to drain. And it helps us to release toxins that we are holding onto in our legs. We spend a lot of time standing or seated. So it's good to practice this just to get rid of any toxic bits that are stuck in our legs. Allowing the breath to come back down to its natural normal rhythm. So we're not going to force it anymore, we're just going to allow it to flow in and out as it needs. Relaxing the facial muscles, smoothing the forehead, relaxing the jaw, the tongue within the mouth. The cheeks are soft. Maybe rock the head from side to side and allow it to stop and rest wherever it wants to. Shoulders are relaxed, neck is long, and then bend the knees. Work your hands out from underneath you, just give yourself a little squeeze, maybe a final rotate of the knees, making some circular movements. Before releasing the feet to the floor, sliding them down away from you, bring the arms down by the side. Palms are facing up into your final resting posture, into corpse pose. Now if you're finding that the lower back is hurting here, we can keep the feet on the floor that distance apart and just allow the knees to knock together. This helps to lower all of the spine onto the mat and supports that region that might be a little bit niggly. But whichever one you want to go with, take up space. So the hips and the shoulders are open. Close the eyes. And now just start on that relaxation. Well done. Let the breath flow. And starting at the top of the head, just scan through the body. Just releasing any tension or tightness that you may be holding on to. Just feel that amazing energy that you've created within your physical body. Feel it moving around. Soften your muscles, allow the limbs to grow heavy. Resist the urge to fidget, just be still, body and mind. Bring your focus back to the intention that you set at the beginning of your practice, whatever that was. So mine was to practice mindfully and listen to my body. Whatever your intention, your focus was, just bring that back to the front of your mind. Let all of the thoughts, just allow them to melt away from you. Sometimes it's good to imagine your thoughts being in a stream in front of you and them just floating by. So you're not trying to fish them out of the stream or follow them down the stream, you just see them pass by. They're only thoughts, they'll come back if they need to. Once again, feel the breath moving in and out through the nostrils. Feel the reaction of your body to the breath. And when you're ready, start wiggling your fingers, moving your toes. And drawing the legs together, taking the arms up and overhead for a full body stretch. And then knees come into the chest, give yourself a hug. Bring the forehead up to touch the knees, so we curl up into a tight little ball. And then release. You can roll over onto one side as you transition back up into seated. Come into easy cross-legged, facing forward. Bring the hands onto the knees or in the lap. Just roll your shoulders back and down. Keep the eyes closed. Just equalise that breath, that energy in and around you. Awesome. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Hands touch at the top. Bring your prayer into your heart centre. Acknowledge your intention, your focus. Well done for taking this time out to join me on your mats, and thank you for allowing me to guide you. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.